How do
Oh, yep, it's working. Woo!
Are you live? YouTube says you've not started yet. But there are 6 people online waiting to see.
I should.
It says this live event will begin in a few minutes. Oh no, you're live.
Oh, it did it.
Mm-hmm.
Woo! On YouTube, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now. Hi! Oh my goodness! Hello! I can't believe I got this working. Let me move this down a little bit. Hi, everybody! Wonderful. What about Instagram? Have we got Instagram? No. No, we do not. There is a way to fix that. And that is just to do this. Hi, guys. Hello, 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 hello. Hi. Cute. Okay, so welcome. Finally got it working. Didn't figure out how to make it do Instagram Live, but that's what my phone is for, isn't it? So we're doing okay. I guess we'll just give it 5 minutes, wait for some people to show up, drop your comments. I can see all your comments. Hi. Yeah, all your comments are coming into one place. So if you want to say anything, request anything, drop it in there. I am very hungover today. Very, very hungover. You can't see this because I'm wearing about 5 layers of makeup. But yes, the struggle is real. I sweated it all out already, so hopefully it's going to be fine. Let me start my timer here. Hello, darling Carla. How are you doing? Wonderful. Okay, well, we've got a few people. Excellent. So, obviously, with these things, it takes a little while for people to join in, log on, whatever. So, I figured first what I would do is I would read something from a book that's really, really inspired me, and it's this book here. Just hold it up there for Instagram, and then here it is for the rest of you. It's called In the City of Shy Hunters, by a lovely gentleman called Tom Spanbauer, and it's one of my absolute favorite queer bits of literature, and it pretty much kickstarted my cowboy obsession as well. So yeah, this book has a lot to answer for. If I ever give you it to read, it means I really fancy you. So little note there. And yeah, it's basically about New York in the 80s, and HIV and AIDS, and lost loves, and queer cowboys. Also a little bit of incest, which I'm not into, but and Tom Spanbauer here. Tom Spanbauer, where is he? Here he is. Gonna hold him up. Hopefully you can see him. Here you go, here's Instagram. You can see him here. He is actually the gentleman that taught Chuck Palahniuk how to write. So Fight Club, it was pretty much the first book that Palahniuk wrote. after he worked with Thomas Manbauer, I think. So, yeah, I'm just going to start it off, let people join, bit of a reading, same old, same old. I can put my timer on, because otherwise I'm going to blather. So, you don't really need any background. This is chapter 6, and this is sort of like a flashback into the protagonist's childhood. So, yeah. The liar's space. That's what Bobby called the gap between Charlie Two Moons' two front teeth. Don't know which came first, Bobby said. The liar space or the lying? But Charlie didn't lie. Charlie liked to tell stories, tall tales. Probably because of all those books he had read, like Robinson Crusoe, A Tale of Two Cities, Huckleberry Finn. As soon as Charlie opened his mouth to tell you about something that happened to him or his mother, Viv, or to his grandfather, Alessandro, or to his horse, Ayahuasca, you could bet your life there was some truth in what Charlie was telling you. Bobby said Charlie was a born bullshit artist. Maybe it's the truth. But I think it was Charlie's nature to tell a good story, which means he expanded on some of the details. And mostly, Charlie's stories were about his father, his famous fancy trick-riding father who was a full-blood descendant of Geronimo, who worked as a movie extra in Hollywood and hung out with Gene and Autry and Roy Rogers and Tom Mix and Gary Cooper and Randolph Scott and Cary Grant and John Wayne. Charlie's father discovered Clint Eastwood. Charlie said his father one day was buying himself a new saddle in a saddle shop in Beverly Hills, and the guy waiting on Charlie's father was Clint Eastwood. And Charlie said his father took one look at Clint and saw spaghetti western written all over Clint's face. Another story Charlie always told was that his father had supernatural powers that he inherited from the spirit of Geronimo, and one of these powers was that his father could change into different animals any time he wanted. Mostly, though, Charlie said, what my father turned into was a wolf. One day, lying around in Bobby's bedroom listening to Johnny Mathis Heavenly, Charlie told Bobby that me and his mother, Viv, of, Viv's Double Wide Beauty Salon, wasn't a hairdresser at all. She was an alien being who had come to Earth to gather information about the effects of despair on the cosmos. And Charlie said that the task of his alien mother on this Earth, being an Indian and woman and all, was to study despair by feeling it. Then, there was one night when Charlie and Bobby and I were up in the barn in the back where the blades of straw and the straw on the floor were. We were sitting on the old white trash couch. The black and white wedding diamond quilt over us, a kerosene lamp for light, and the floor swept clean of straw around where the lamp sat. And it was nice to be up there in the barn, listening to the big old Zenith radio. The only station we could get was KSEI? I don't know what KSEI is. On Saturday nights, KSEI played top 10 hits, and every Saturday night, for sure, if Father wasn't home, you could find Bobby and Charlie and me up in the barn, sliding a two-step on the straw on the barn floor, slow dancing, jitterbugging, listening to the Patti Page singing the Tennessee Waltz, and Tennessee Ernie Ford singing 16 Tons, and then, of course, Love Me Tender and Hound Dog. Father had taught Bobby how to roll cigarettes with one hand, and Bobby was teaching Charlie, and Bobby was showing Charlie how to undo the Bill Durham patch with your teeth, how to hold the paper, how to lick the paper. And neither one of them would let me learn how to roll because I was too young. And I told them that I was already a sub-teen, and sub-teen meant it was high time you started smoking, but both Bobby and Charlie just shook their heads. I'm going to leave it there. Hope you enjoyed that. Again, that was from In the City of Shy Hunters by Tom Spanbauer. Very, very, very big inspiration to me. So let's have a look. Oh, we've got some people. Wonderful. Hi, everybody. I was just reading from stuff that inspired me just while you all logged on and got your stuff ready. But I guess we'll start with a poem. This one's called 924 for a reason that I've forgotten, but I'm sure it had a meaning at the time. And yeah, here we go. Do you dine on opium and hooch? Backdoor, trapdoor, cat gets loosed, and you shouldn't have fucked with that board in your basement, so we talk of dive bars and astral displacement. And your places embrace the knives in the sea, tie your rocks to my ankles, don't take him from me, and I think you could help, so just hold my head down, I won't run to you, I'd rather just drown. Smooth talking, jazz walking, criminal mind. I should stop bugging you all of the time. Did you curse the heart that I opted for in your call to arms? Out of time metaphor. Your places embrace the knives in the sea, tie rocks from my ankles, don't take him from me, and I think you could help and just hold my head down. I won't run to you, I'd rather just drown.
Sorry, I couldn't find that in your music.
Sorry, I can't find it in my music. So yeah, drop some comments, let me know if you're enjoying it. More poems, less poems, more reading. Let me know. Gotta save this one. How are we all doing with lockdown, by the way? Are we all gone mad yet? As many of you know, I have a kidney failure, polycystic kidney disease. But actually there are a few people here that have come from elsewhere externally. So yeah, polycystic kidney disease means that I was born with cysts in my kidneys, and eventually they're going to get so big that it's going to stop them from working. So I'm on the not super high risk, but vaguely high risk list. So I haven't really been outside for 3 weeks. I mean, I watched the park and back. It's very surreal. I also had a dream that Boris Johnson had corona about 3 days before he said he had corona, so maybe I should buy a lottery ticket. Not sure. Oh, it looks like Periscope's working as well. That's wonderful. Might ask my glamorous assistant to check that.
On it.
Thank you. My glamorous assistant is literally the voices in my head. So if you hear... Yeah, you see? Just laughs. It just laughs. It just laughs all the time.
You are broadcasting on Periscope.
I am broadcasting on Periscope. How cool. I've never been on Periscope in my life. I've used a Periscope. Okay. I can take some more water because this is very important. Meow. Yes, meow. I put my, hi. Yeah, I put this on because, I don't know if you guys have watched The Tiger King yet, but if you haven't, you need to get on it right now. And there's a great bit where there's a woman in it, Carol, who, it's a long story, keeps calling leopard print cat print. And yeah, it's just really hilarious. So this is my tribute to Carol Baskin, I think her surname was. Right. What we're going to do, let's do this one. This is a good one. I'm just going to go into it. Can you throw the body out? Or move it down at least? It's been 3 days, my love, and I'd quite like to sleep. And that skeleton heart you nailed on the wall was gaining flesh and blood, but you cut my fingers through the gloves and told me not to touch. So, honey, what's the point of this goodbye if I don't shout? It's just an easy way for you to find a clear path out, and this corpse here, it's been wailing since you declared the drought. Break my heart with maybe. Break my heart. No doubt. So you burn out our strange tapestries, dismembered limbs inside. It's your intention forces demons deep into your mind, and I'm ready to take this final breath, carved ruby butcher sea, and either way, there was no need to be so cruel to me. Anyway, there was no need to be so cruel to me, so I went and buried the body. I covered it with sheets, and the thing about that honeybee is that shit's all deceased, and my skeleton heart, I boiled the bones, cut off the flesh and blood. Hell, bold new outstretched fingers, a prophet saving love. So Firefly, he taught me all there is and was to know, on taking risks that come by next and never letting go, and our corpse reduced to worm's meat and those fir tree squirrels sing. Before the good strikes hard the bad, it's this karmic spin. And we both hand-stitch new tapestries. I wear this heart with pride, and it's just my gypsy sister sent frost visions as a guide, and I watch this horse a-riding, the dust flies overseas. New love crashes in like thunder, it's taking over me. Brings new hope horizons. Taking over me. So yeah, that's an emotional one, actually. I'm a bit choked up now. This one is really interesting because I wrote it either side of I wrote it in 2 parts. And the first part was just post heartbreak, and the second part, thanks, Violet. The second part was written after I'd met somebody else, and it was also new and great, and I was like, whoa, what the hell? I can't believe things spin so quickly, which I think we're all feeling a little bit at the moment. The world is very, very unpredictable, and, no one can see or did see what is happening to us now coming. So I thought that would be a good one to read just because of the perspective shift. Yeah, it's a good one. I'm going to scroll down. Right, how long have we got? 46 minutes. Shall we do another inspiration? I think we shall. I'm going to drink some water. Available on iTunes. Yes. I am RuPaul, but without all the problems. Female drag queens are still drag queens. Right, so as you guys know, I'm a huge horror fan. Not all of you. Huge horror fan. I also do horror film reviews as well as music reviews. And one of the first sort of interactions I ever had with the genre was Hellraiser. And now Hellraiser is based on this short story here, Instagram, and then this, I hope you can't actually see. There we go. 404. Oh my goodness. Hello, Richie Watson. How are you doing? The best. How's the little bubba? Hopefully not around to hear me swear. So yeah. Yeah, so Clive Barker, Hellbound Heart. It is here and here. Yeah, it's what Hellraiser was based on. I think the book is superior. But also Clive Barker is a crazy motherfucker. A few years ago, he had a reaction to some dental anesthetic. I'm pretty sure that just means drugs, but and he wrote all of this amazing prose about what he'd seen while he was in a coma from this. Oh, it was amazing. But yeah, I'm gonna just flip the book and see where I land. There. 2. So here we go. Get spooky. This is about halfway through the book. The storm made a ghost train of the house. Julia sat downstairs and counted the beats between the flash and the fury that came on its heels. She'd never liked thunder. She, a murderess, she, a consorter with the living dead. It was another paradox to add to the thousands she'd found at work in herself of late. She thought more than once of going upstairs and taking some comfort with the prodigy, but knew it would be unwise. Rory might return at any moment from his office party, and he would be drunk on past experience and full of unwelcome fondness. The storm crept closer. She put on television to block out the din, which it scarcely did. At 11, Rory came home wreathed in smiles. He had good news. In the middle of the party, his supervisor had taken him aside and condemned him for his excellent work and spoken on great things for the future. Julia listened to his retelling of the exchange, hoping that his inebriation would blind him to her indifference. At last, his news told. He threw off his jacket and sat down on the sofa beside her. "Poor you," he said. "You don't like the thunder." "I'm fine," she said. "You sure?" "Yes." "Fine." He leaned across to her and nuzzled her ear. "You're sweaty," she said. Matter-of-factly, he didn't cease his overtunes, however, and unwilling to lower his baton now he'd begun. "Please, Rory," she said, "I don't want this." "Why not?" "What did I do?" "Nothing," she said. "You're fine." "Oh, is that right?" he said. "You're fine, I'm fine, everybody's fucking fine." She stared at the flickering screen. The late evening news had just begun, the usual crop of sorrows full to brimming. Rory talked on, drowning out the newscaster's voice with his diatribe. She didn't mind much. What did the world have to tell her? Little enough, whereas she had the news for the world that it would reel to hear. About the condition of the damned, about love lost and then found, about what despair and desire have in common. "Please, Julia," Rory was saying, just speak to me." The pleas demanded her attention. He looked, she thought, like the boy in the photographs, his body hirsute and bloated, his clothes that of a genuine adult, but still, in essence, a boy. With his bewildered gaze and sulky mouth, she remembered Frank's question, "How could you ever marry such a dullard?" Thinking of it, a sour smile creased her lips. He looked at her. his puzzlement deepening. What's so funny? Damn you. Nothing. He shook his head, dull anger replacing the sulk. A peal of thunder followed the lightning with the barely beat intervening. As it came, there was a noise from the floor above. She turned her attention back to the television to divert Rory's interest, but it was a vain attempt. He'd heard the sound. What? What the fuck was that? Thunder? Ooh, thunder! Great. So this, I've got some wonderful Instagram. Yeah. So yeah, as you could probably guess, wasn't thunder. And yeah, that was a little bit of an excerpt from The Hellbound Heart by Clive Barker. I'm gonna bring it over here. So Instagram, yeah, I would really recommend it. It's teeny as well, and I feel like it. How am I gonna say this so I don't go on one of my rambling rants about cinema because they're long. I feel like the book expresses the whole pleasure-pain dichotomy better than the film. I feel like in the films it's sort of almost amped up so much it's a bit fetishy. But yeah, here it kind of is sort of dips into like the more of a BDSM feel, which is great, in my opinion. Oh, Sunday night chatter. All right. I'm going to read something of my own next. What should we go with? Running out of water. Okay. Separate something. Cool. So this piece is going to be a piece of short fiction now. No more poetry. Well, not no more poetry, but we've done a lot of poetry, so let's write some of my fiction. I don't even really consider myself a poet, which is crazy because I write a bazillion poems, but so this is from a long abandoned novel called Orchid Delirium. I had this dream once about sort of walking down the road and it was quite like apocalyptic and all the buildings were falling down and I was with somebody who I didn't know. My brain had made them up and I knew that we were going to a garden. It was the only garden left. All of this like devastation, it had been amping up, like all their friends had started breaking their arms and it amped up and it was the two of them and they just caused so much chaos that they decided to go and isolate themselves in this one garden. So this is when they get there. I've got to finish that book. Okay. We always agreed that it felt like sunrise filling up our bodies, yet it had been ever so long since we'd seen the actual sun that there, when the clouds had cleared and in the luscious green arms of our orchid-lined safe place, I fell in love with spring all over again. It was like the world was coming apart at the seams before we came, and time isn't linear and shit, we all know that, and true, I had my head in the clouds so entirely that hours could feel like a second, and seconds could feel like hours, and yet generalized anxiety disorder makes everything seem dark and incoming except for the moments I lay there in his arms covered in sunrise. naughty word coming. Fucking. Bubbling up from inside of me, the bonds between everything curling together. I remembered their experiments and conversations buried deep at the bottom of a spliff. Sunrise from the right side, musings that this world was not connected in the way we perceived it, and that all of this reality is fake. Those stoned revelations. Shit. It ain't really real anyway, you know? Matrix shit. Those sisters had it right all along, and this is a computer simulation, right? Those thought experiments that made me nervous, delivered by boys in bands who didn't want to go home to their wives, and yet it was with Florian that I really got my brain around these things, and I saw my reality falling apart with every careful breath I took, filled with the sunrise that we managed to pour back into each other's bodies. Yet, somehow, the world had gone dark and we'd not seen the sun in fuck knows how long. So, we're curled up on the grass of the garden. This sumptuous greenery that didn't wither when we put our feet on it. And I'm Athena, in a 50s movie, powered and powdered and primped and swaddled in Greek robes with garlands in my hair. Sprouting flowers where I walked rather than the death and decay that had been so horribly apparent in our last few months. And when we walked through the gate, the pathway, it was overhung with thick green reeds no more than an hour ago, and neither of us had been quite able to express the shock with our words. Our shock at the world fully restored. After all, hadn't we met in a garden? Romanced against flowers, and he had always bought me a red rose or a lily until they started dying out around us and we quit the city. Peace. We'll get to that later, I think. I mean, if you're inclined to weather this story storm with me. Isn't it chaotic when you pick up other people's words in your vocabulary? Lost lovers only sound anew in the way you absorb their language, in the way you repeat it back to others who don't know the origin, and I always assumed I was a sum of the parts of the lovers who've left me, and yet, with Florian and the garden, and suddenly the sun rose anew and we became so much more than our building blocks. Maybe that's why our perceived universe shattered around us, why we need our safe place. Mercy. It's all at once you get things, or not at all. Let's narrow it down. All that dreamers need to hold on to is an image. Are you a dreamer, friend? Yet? If this story is being told, it applies a story past an ending, right? So maybe the point of it here is that you need a hope to hold on to. A promise that all lost lovers can carve out their own existence, even when the world falls to shreds around them. Peace, peace, so much peace, things you should know, and I knew I loved him from the moment he said his name was Florian. Sunrise. In my limbs, curling round the edges of my thighs, aching into my stomach, stretched, small, covered in ash marks from the chaos of the fire we'd escaped. Dirt encrusted. Flies in my belly button, spiders in my hair. How long had we been walking for? My watch had stopped working halfway and had shattered and spattered into a lapse of messy cogs and floated away on the air outside. When I'd tipped it towards Florian and pointed, and he dropped those ever-tense shoulders and said, well, do you think it's the machine that's broken? Or do you think that it's time itself that's broken? I had to shrug. Who knew? Somewhere in our unwilling escape, we'd lost track of both, haven't we? So who knew how long we'd been walking after time broke? Yet. We'd fallen against each other when we pushed back those vines, and we just knew. It was home. Sunrise. In my limbs, curling round the edge of my thighs, a snowstorm of delight, the cat got the cream smile stabbing across my stomach, marked with patches of dirt and twigs in my hair, but every song in my body was singing, each cell divided, hummed with the same frequency. Photosynthesizing love from his body. His energy mixing with mine, divine energy igniting the deepest of flames, hard in my limbs with romance, heady, 2-drink wine drunk on each other's skin, and the electrical current between us. And I should thank my body for kickstarting this divine connection. 'Cause ain't nothing but fire between us. And when you'd pushed and screamed instead of it raining ash and soot like it had for months before my watch broke, the sunrise broke over the faint smell of burning, and all the flowers moved their heads towards the light. Gave off their scent of pollen, and the air turned back to warm and comforting, like we'd grown close in and we hadn't fucked in forever. So this rejoining of our parts, now it was safe and clear, and gave forth the pleasure of forbidden fruit echoing the trees around us, seemed to bring the thing forward. So we shed our clothes down the mossy path. Far in the distance I could see the rags you had tied to your legs. They once were jeans, but since we'd run through the fire, through the collapse of buildings, through the water, and they'd ended up in tatters, I could see their outlines far on the edges of the enclosure we'd come to a stop in. Like some ancient old lighthouse on the horizon. And a flicker goes through the energy of what we might have ended up as. We seemed so far off from what we had become mere hours before. My clothes and the rest of yours had been lost on the pathway between them. Out of sight, out of our minds. But the thing is, it's okay when it's just you and the flowers. So yeah, that was my, we are all dreamers. Yes, we are. We are all dreamers. So yeah, that was something I wrote after having a dream. I base a lot of stuff on dreams. I have and always have had very, very, very surreal dreams. Some terrifying, some wonderful, some just fucking weird. And yeah, I wrote, when I went to the Fringe, I wrote a whole Fringe show about it. It was called Nicoletta, Wylde is Afraid of the Dark. Might be able to do a special, actually, if you guys are loving this. So, give me some love. Let me know if you want me to continue. I can bring you Nicoletta, Wylde is Afraid of the Dark, because it's about 15 minutes. We can do it all as one. Oh, my cat. Princess. Now, what I also thought would be really funny, maybe only just to me, but would be if I read you something that I wrote when I was 16. In a hilarious fan fiction way. Yes. Can you tell us about one dream? Says somebody on Instagram. Please, yes. Oh yeah, I can do the show then. Yeah, it's got backing tracks and stuff, but I don't think it would be too hard to translate it to a Can you say more about your dreams? Maybe later. So this is you can laugh at the cover. I laugh at the cover on a regular basis. This is something I wrote when I was 16. Where shall I go for? Look at the terrible cover. Look at this. That is a crime of graphic design if you've ever seen one, even though it matches my hair. And then, is this? Oh yeah, I'm gonna move it that way for this camera. Wonderful. So this is called Bedraggled and Beautiful. I can't really remember what it's about. Let me go to the back. Is this the one with the... Oh no! Okay, so I have a habit, or had a habit when I was really young. Really young, of writing books about stuff that already existed. So the first 2 novels I wrote were vampire novels. And then this one is literally Clockwork Orange, but I'd seen neither of those things. Obviously, because I was a child. So, recorded session, and I think, cool, okay. Can't catch you up to the plot at this point because I don't know the plot. This is chapter 5, Down the Corridor. It took her maybe 20 minutes to surface again. Wasn't really counting. Spent most of it sitting in the same place, head spinning, trying to make top and tail of this little catastrophe. She knew me. She said she knew me, but she didn't. I mean, the way she'd reacted, she'd thought me the ghost. Was I a ghost? Evidently, we were just as confused as each other. She awoke with a start. Ow! She drew in the air in a quick breath. Ow, ow, owie, and her hand went to her head, perfect fake nails, hands covered in those same red scars. Shit, she said. Her eyes came to rest on me. Shit. Shit indeed. Oh, Jesus, I forgot you were here, she frowned. Why are you here? You're not real. You're not... I shook my head. Feel pretty real to me, I said, and it's you who are not real. What? She said, no, God, I can't take this in. Let's start at the start. Right. Who brought you here? Right. Back at the start. Very good place to begin, of course, but I was never good at doing things well, was I? And the start that she placed wasn't really the start of it anyway, and why? The real start would have been when I first met her. When did I first meet her? I can't remember. She'd just always been there. Chris, I said. We ran into each other last night. He said you'd love to see me again. Again? She frowned. No. She changed the subject. What Chris did and didn't say is irrelevant. Heaven knows the boy's an idiot, and God, you are not real. You're that guy I see in my dreams, the one who... I scowled. Me? I said. No. You are the crazy one. Put my hands to my head. God, was the world swirling? This didn't make sense. I decided it was too wrong to be right. She wasn't here. It was just another of my stupid hallucinations, just another of my silly whims. And sooner or later she'd scream and run off. She'd begin to convulse. She'd burst into flames or some other nasty thing. And yes, she was just a hallucination, just a dream. She could not be real. But generally they didn't protest before. I don't understand, I said. Why are you here? I don't know, she said, sitting up. We're going in circles. I should just throw you out. Yes. Why do I trust you? Start from the start. What do you know? And that's quite enough of that. But as you can see, 16-year-old me wasn't that bad in retrospect. Some of it's a bit more cringe than that, I'll admit. Shiny. Hello, Kate, darling. Yes, it is shiny. That's because it's from one of those strange Lulu self-publishing things. Hi, Princess. My cat wants to get involved. Princess, do you want to read a poem? Yeah? Okay. What else do we have of mine that I can read you? Because we are into the last 20 minutes. Goes fast. Oh, I'm going to read that, but I'm going to close with that. Oh, yeah. This is a good one. This one is called Filling in Rabbit Holes with Rubble, because I love alliteration. It's so good. So, just going to go straight into it. Just because of time. Except for the night, it's another new life. Another lady saying I ain't sick. But the fact of it all is when it's dark, my dreams fall down a road that just makes me feel sick. So since that final day that you went away, I closed my doors, they're locked. Intoxication so wrong, I never got to be strong, so you bet I'm just moving on. So feed your needle-tooth bitches, just give them their prey till you realise it's you that made them this way. So I'm filling in what's left of the rabbit holes with rubble, thus remains my choice. Just stay out of trouble. Except for one rat. It was a clear path back, another anecdote, I got too deep. But the fact of it all is in my heart it did fall for someone else. It satisfies its peak. So though your needle scars ache, doll, I'm sure it don't replace house I built and those plans I relayed. Intoxication all gone, no more opium songs, so daydream. Just moving on. So feed your needle-tooth bitches, just give them their prey till you realise it's you that made them this way. So I'm filling what's left of the rabbit holes with rubble, thus remains My choice. Just stay out of trouble. I like that one. It's very angry, that one. But, yeah. It's about survival. It's about moving on. It's about picking yourself back up when you're smashed into pieces. It's about coming to your senses. It's about someone that was very bad for you. Lots of themes there. And also I think it's about, I'm going to stop rambling and read the last piece in a minute, but also I think it's about giving yourself the permission to be angry. I feel like a lot in society says that we have to be calm and you know, quiet and small, especially as women, and yeah, I just think it's a bunch of shit, really. I think you should be loud and happy and exactly who you are. So yeah, I guess I channel a lot of that side of me into my writing because it's you know, accepted outlet for it. But yeah, I do really like that one. Should read it out more. So we are gonna finish up because we have 14 minutes left. I'm gonna read this. It's gonna be at least 14 minutes, and if not, I'm gonna read that one out. I am editing them off the screen. So this piece, my darlings who are here, the Hendrixes, may be familiar with it, my absolute rocks. And yeah, I don't know if Lucius and Foxy are here. Anyway, we ran a club night together for a while called Coven, and we had this really overarching concept about the end of the world. So I had to argue for humanity, and I feel like this piece specifically is something that we all need to hear right now, just to like give us faith and hope for each other, and just to, you know, to understand that people are beautiful. And I'm gonna stop because I'm gonna cry. So yeah, but you need to know the general premise for this one. But the premise is that I am at a trial at the end of the world, and I am arguing as to why humanity is a good thing. And it's called In Defense of Humanity. Wait. Just wait. Wait. Stay there. You. Just stand still. Don't you fucking move a muscle. Great prophet, most omnipotent one, bringer of the great message, the Lord on high, destroyer who renounces his name in the same breath which he renounces humanity. Don't you fucking move a muscle. So I guess you want to start with, who the fuck am I? Right? And I've got to say, that's the closest to manners I've ever damn seen in an astral being. I always kind of just assumed that your world didn't have manners, no yeses, no noses, no please and thank yous. Because, like, manners are the key to a downfall. Ain't that right? Surely the most successful humans didn't get anywhere without stepping on a motherfucker every now and then. Right? You speak of a creator, a god power. You speak of things above yourself you cannot control, sweet messages you bring on your dark wings down under the guise of love. But I wonder, have you ever seen love in all its terrible motion? Love. Love. You preach love, but I call it hate, and I always think there's a great difference between the two sides of the world and the world. In fact, this argument of duality, the dark and the light, and we mere mortals see everything in black and white. And after all, the hero in a great saga need only follow the moral code we all set for each other to be loved. And love the villain? Well, we have to understand his darkness. We have to sympathize with his terror and walk a path with him that otherwise we would not fathom for ourselves. So you are the villain here, being, yet you beg for sympathy without asking us to understand. And in short, mere prophet of a being who lacks understanding, you have no right to come here preaching a love you know nothing of. To take these people here and there away with you, to break down their energies and scatter them far and wide. Sure, that's great, but you forget one thing. And that thing is love. Real love. Real love is creation. Real love is all-consuming. Real love is maddening and frightening and fervid and terrible and wonderful, all wrapped together in the risk we take, lowering our guard and allowing in the one person in the world with their flaming sword that might well stake us in the heart and let it burn, burn, burn as the sky turns red with the morning sun. And real love is seeing this blush, taking a breath and risking the fall anyway. Real love comes heavy in a mask. It comes through day-to-day sludge with a burning comet trail of rock and dust and burning light. Real love cannot be caught. It cannot be tamed. You cannot smell it in the bottle at the back of that cute little perfumery that you spent so many years in the 1800s in France. That's right, Mr. Prophet. I've been watching you. Where, you ask? How? How is love? Love for the energy that you beg so hard to destroy. Where? Well, everywhere you have been astrally, you leave a kind of mark. Even the divine prophets, and the easiest way to describe it in the single language we are stuck with is an energy footprint. You see? It's universally acknowledged that our bodies, these flesh cages we drive through the twinkling star skies, move and talk and wink and dance with each other using an exhaust fume load of hormonal and chemical reactions. But yet, who's cracked the soul? I mean, surely that must be an exchange of some great universal energy too, as these men of science has proved. You cannot destroy energy. You can't break it down. So it makes sense that those of us who emit strange light might once or twice in our lives meet a transcendental level of energy consciousness. An almost godlike sense of our souls, a necromancer not dead, not just dead, but slightly able to traverse the pathways well trodden outside of the living. The place your energy dwells, well, it leaches out of your body when your hormone sac fails, and it follows that maybe if you're ever so good to the universe, it might unlock some of its precious secrets if you ask. But of course, you must speak in a strange tongue. The universe cares not for words. You must listen with your heart, renounce all notions of important material goods, hike through rainforests and temples and thick nag shampoo-coated opium dens in the places you least think them possible. And some of us, we call this magic, and some of us renounce the power of this magical energies and name it science. Yet, I have seen these spirals of energy do marvelous things. Cure illnesses and fight wars and connect soulmates across oceans and through dreams call out soul partners from the other side of this icy world. And how? How on earth did I know these things? Love. Real love. Bringing with it creation, great golden threads connecting me and my soulmate, whose energies dance with mine in the great joyous circles throughout the ages and land in these hormone-drenched walking corpses for just a few years. And it's more than that. It's the great golden threads from me to my best friends, all huddled in corners, huffing cocaine scented with petrol delivered by men whose worst fears is the djinn, like you, O prophet of destruction, incapable of real love. And what's more, great golden threads from me to my children, stumbling carefully in the world, holding back tears with more strength than I have seen great warriors possess. Careful energy, new energy charged by everybody they connect with threads that bounce off in multiple directions. Because it's love. Forever. Ever-changing, yet still so universal in its feeling of widescreen butterflies dancing in and around the stomach, serotonin and oxytocin, and when you float through the planes between here and the afterworlds, they always look golden to me. So, don't you even come round here preaching your love from destruction, because you see such infantile concepts don't fly in your world. 1 second, the Facebook stream just cut out. Hold that thought. Stay with me. 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 There you go. Right. Love. Forever. Ever-changing, yet still so universal in its feeling of widescreen butterflies dancing in and around the stomach, serotonin and oxytocin, and when you float through the planes between here and the afterworld, they always look golden to me. So, don't you come round here preaching your love from destruction, because you see such infantile concepts don't fly in your world. So, great prophet, you who claim just to be a messenger, take this back with you. Humanity is more than you ever thought it. We have surpassed our bodies farther than you ever thought we could. We are beings of energy, pure light and strength that drive our flesh-coated skeletons, but with half our souls. Destroy our bodies? You might. Cut our ties with the physical, burn our forests and pull down our buildings that somehow became permanent, but you cannot destroy our energy. Scatter us far across space and time if you must, but you remember those threads, ever connecting, ever golden, ever moving with speed, and we will always come back to each other, because you are a virus, and you simply cannot. You simply will not win. So that was emotional. Very emotional. Gonna take some water. I really like that one. In the performance, in the performance I didn't win, but I think I should have. Right, I'm going to do one more, and then we're going to wrap it up, okay? Just going to have a quick word with the voices in my head.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. quick word with the voices in my head. And trash my entire backdrop on the way back. Fucked it, mate. Oh well. Yeah. Right, we got... In 5 seconds, I will have been in your wonderful, wonderful company. Ooh. For an hour. What is that? Don't know. So, yeah. I'm going to sign off. I'm actually going to do you one more. And then I'm going to sign off. And this one... this one, I love this one. It's very, very short. This one is about, I don't know how much you know about the guy, mythology of the guy on the River Styx called Chiron, but like I'm totally obsessed with the idea of some guy on a boat just ferrying people to various places. So I wrote a poem about it. And it's called Chiron Highway because this is what it's about. I ambled our Chiron highway, this 2-day pass in a whiskey flask, strangers' fingerprints, unknown implements, looking to get out of my head for a while, so you'll pull me right out of this bed for a while, and don't you know? You have to watch out for those embers. Honey, you're gonna get yourself burnt. So I trampled our Chiron highway, this light strands and handstands, unknown paths, danger smarts, all looking for a way to get laid for a while. So say that your ghost might stay for a while, and why be I like the way my flesh smells is why I'm sizzling my seashells. Grass stain hot, electricity smart, steal a cigarette and blow. Yay! So that's our hour done, which is great. I'm going to sign off. Let me just close all these windows. Yeah. Hello, everybody. I'm sorry about the Instagram stream going down before the end. Maybe you can only do them for an hour. I'm not sure how that works. But YouTube, Periscope, nice to see you. Thanks for watching. Instagram, thank you for watching. Facebook Live, thank you for watching. If you want to send any tips, you can send them here. Not that I'm asking for them, but if you feel that was, worth a $5 or something, drop me a $5. But it would help if I spelled my name right. Hang on. Just reloading the stream. I'm using this new multi-streaming platform that I've never used before, so some bugs. Woo, okay, paypal.com/Nicoletta Wylde. I also, you can also find all of my spoken word albums on Spotify. Yeah. Go look them up, have a listen, buy a CD if you want one. You can message me, my inbox is always open. And yeah, pleasure, absolute pleasure to spend an hour with you. And let me know if you want me to do another one next week. Be good, be kind to each other, remember we're in this together. Viruses are shit, but we'll get through it. We will get through it.